Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Om Gananjana Chakshurun Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale SyamaRupa Swapadantikam Namaha Pristhaya Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Om Sri Surabhyaya Namaha Om Sri Surabhyaya Namaha Om Sri Surabhyaya Namaha Om Sri Surabhyaya Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Lam session dealing with largely the subject matter of Varnasrama Dharma. Some of you may wonder why we are reciting these two short prayers, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This is to, of course, the very special invocation or prayer that was given by the great sage Narada to Dhruva Maharaj to help him in his meditation. And simply by reciting this short mantra, within a short period of 6 months, he actually could have darshan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We recite the prayer Om Sri Surabhyaya Namaha as an invocation addressing Mother Surabhi. Mother Surabhi, the name Surabhi represents the original cow in the spiritual world. She is the mother or the source of all cows. And therefore, knowing that our Vedic culture is centered on cow care, cow protection, and service to cows, therefore, it is most important for us to offer such prayers and to remember Mother Cow, knowing that if she is cared for, if she is protected, then the whole world will be protected. And the opposite is also true. The more she is unprotected, the more she is neglected, then the whole of society will experience all kinds of turmoil and difficulties. Yesterday I received a very inspiring PowerPoint presentation. It was put together by one devotee by the name Vrishaba in Croatia. Very nicely prepared. The earlier version we had received during the ISKCON Golden Jubilee. So that was year 2016. And the PowerPoint has since been improved. More slides have been added. And the title of this PowerPoint is The Global Importance of Cow Protection. Very nice title, very appropriate. The Global Importance of Cow Protection. We have put this up for viewing on our srisurabhi.org website. We have also today sent it to those who are members of our Sri Surabhi app. We haven't mentioned this very much, but there is an app called Sri Surabhi, which is basically giving one an opportunity to be connected with these various topics related to Varnasrama Dharma. And of course, again, Sri Surabhi, the center or the focus. In this app, one can find all of the photos and brief description of the indigenous cows of India, called Deshi cows. And there are many links to various websites where we have devotees actually all over the world. There are some very, very dedicated devotees, just like one devotee in Mexico for many years has a beautiful website. Possibly we can mention some of these websites occasionally during our presentation, but all of those links are actually found or to be found in the Sri Surabhi app. We also have, before we go to our regular reading from the Speaking about Varnasrama book, our devotee from Ukraine, Bala Prabhu, has sent a very nice, another inspiring quote. This he sent to the Global Varnasrama Mission group that has just newly been started on Telegram. We have announced how we are migrating from WhatsApp to Telegram, so we didn't get a chance to... sometimes some text will appear on one site and maybe not on the other. So just very briefly, this is from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 1, chapter 19, text number 8, relating to 3 principles of civilized life. Yes. So, Parikshit Maharaj is speaking here. I am uncivilized and sinful due to my neglect of Brahminical culture, God consciousness, and cow protection. Therefore, I wish that my kingdom, strength and riches, burnt up immediately by the fire of the Brahmana's wrath, so that in the future I may not be guided by such inauspicious attitudes. And Srila Prabhupada gives in a purport, progressive human civilization is based on, number 1, Brahminical culture, 2, God consciousness, and 3, protection of cows. Actually, in another purport, I believe in the 8th canto, Srila Prabhupada gives the order. The first of these 3 principles actually is cow protection. Cow protection upholds Brahminical culture. And when there is Brahminical culture, qualified brahmanas, then there can be God consciousness within society. Srila Prabhupada continues, all economic development of the state by trade, commerce, agriculture, and industries must be fully utilized in relation to the above principles. Otherwise, so-called economic development becomes a source of degradation. And then Prabhupada underlines what we just mentioned a few seconds ago. Cow protection means feeding the Brahminical culture. feeding the Brahminical culture, means supporting the Brahminical culture, which leads towards God consciousness. And thus perfection of human civilization is achieved. The age of Kali aims at killing the higher principles of life. And although Maharaj Parikshit strongly resisted the domination of the personality of Kali within the world, the influence of the age of Kali came at an opportune moment, and even a strong king like Maharaj Parikshit was induced to disregard the Brahminical culture due to a slight provocation of hunger and thirst. Maharaj Parikshit lamented the accidental incident, and he desired that all his kingdom's strength and accumulation of wealth would be burnt up for not being engaged in Brahminical culture. And the last section of this purport, where wealth and strength are not engaged in the advancement of Brahminical culture, God consciousness and cow protection, these three basic principles, the state and home are surely doomed by providence. If we want peace and prosperity in the world, we should take lessons from this verse. Every state and every home must endeavor to advance the cause of Brahminical culture for self-purification, God consciousness for self-realization, and cow protection for getting sufficient milk and the best food to continue a perfect civilization. End of the purport. This is very much connected with the section we will now be reading, speaking about Varnasrama. The chapter we're looking at is entitled, How to Utilize the Bulls. Very fundamental principle that is also very essential. So in this, this is during a morning walk in 1975, August the 1st, in New Orleans, a walk around New Talavan Farm. This is one of the large farms that we have in North America, approximately 1,000 acres, and Srila Prabhupada had visited. He had even cooked. There's that famous picture of Srila Prabhupada with the stirring actually the pot in the kitchen, and that was taken in New Talavan. So a few of the themes in this exchange. Number one, how to utilize the bulls, how to properly utilize the bulls. Secondly, how to live off the land. 3, how to milk cows. Number 4, feed crops versus food crops. And 5, the appropriate use of machines. So I'll just take a few sections where Prabhupada elaborates a bit more here. In India, still, in the villages, they do not know other than this wood fuel, anything else. So Prabhupada is stressing the importance of using wood for cooking, as opposed to modern day gas cylinders or propane. So Prabhupada is explaining they are misusing these trees by cutting manufacturing paper, heaps of paper in each house, throwing daily. We have been cutting down. It is called deforestation, has been ongoing for the last 50 plus years, to such an extent that in North America, at least in the US, 95% of the forests are now gone. Forests are so important in so many ways. The Prabhupada is making the point that modern day society has devised simply for the satisfaction of reading some prajalpa or gramya kotha. Gramya kotha means news that is not very important. It largely means actually gossip, which is not at all helpful for one's self-realization. And therefore there's a massive industry, paper industry, and logging industry, because, for example, the New York Times, one of the largest newspapers in North America, for so many decades was getting all of its wood actually from Canada. So Prabhupada is making the point here that people, they receive a newspaper, they buy a newspaper every day, they read a few pages, and then they throw it away. You see? Not in any way useful or helpful for what is meant to be the primary goal or purpose of life, self-realization. As Prabhupada would say, it is like chewing the chewed. It's the same news, basically speaking. In each house throwing daily, they do not read, but they are supplied heaps of paper and cutting these trees. Simply waste. Now we have wood and paper shortage all over the world. It takes so much time to grow. And one day they cut hundreds of trees like this and put into the paper mill. It takes years and years for a tree to come to maturity. And with modern day technology, beyond even traditionally people would cut by hand, by axe. I saw pictures some years back when visiting Australia, very old picture of so many men cutting down huge trees. It would take them days because the trees were humongous. We don't see such trees nowadays. And they would be pulling these trees using bullocks. And I'd never seen before, but they had a team of at least, maybe 14 bullocks, 7 teams, teams of bullocks pulling. So, and heaps of paper is given every house and he throws away. Then you bring garbage tank, in this way waste. Yes. Srila Prabhupada actually is being taken around on the tour of New Talavan. And then Prabhupada is mentioning here, just see, that is the difference between animal and man. A child can control so many calves. Krishna was doing that. One stick in the hand of a child can control 50 cows. The child is controller of many cows. A man is controller of many children. In this way, controller. when there is a final controller, that is Krishna. So the point being made in this exchange of the importance of utilizing the cows, the bulls rather, especially for tilling the land, and as well as for different kinds of transportation. Our situation all over the world actually with bulls is very pathetic, in that we practically, in many villages here in India, I've had personal experience in the last year or so by visiting so many villages. Practically speaking, there are in many villages not even one bull to be found. So this is a very major topic of discussion, and one can learn more by reading these different exchanges that Srila Prabhupada is having in the book speaking about Varnasrama. We can now go to our questions. Today is our 20th session, and we are looking at question number 61. This was a question sent by through the internet by one person called Marla. So I believe it is she. She begins by saying, Hare Krishna, and thank you for your wonderful talks and articles that are found online. It has been said that chanting the Mahamantra without receiving or hearing it from an advanced Krishna conscious Vaishnava will bring one the fruits of Bhukti and Mukti, but not the sweet, precious ambrosia of Prema Bhakti. Question: what is meant by both Bhukti and Mukti? And there's an additional short question which reads as follows: would you recommend in beginning the process to chant a couple or a few rounds a day and then to build on that over time, or is it best to chant 16 rounds a day from the start? Good question. So let's go to the first. Yes. One who does not receive the holy name from a pure source will not be able to achieve the purity of the holy name. Therefore, it is so important. One nice verse is there in the Shastra explaining how all of us are wandering in this material world since time immemorial, from not only one planet to another, but from one universe to another. And the verse explains, Brahmanda Brahmite kono bhagyavan jeev Guru Krishna prasade pai bhakti lata bij. One is considered most fortunate if, after spending so much time transmigrating from one species of life to another, one finally gets the good opportunity. Guru Krishna prasade pai, to get Guru who is conscious of Krishna. That means Sat Guru. There are different kinds of Guru. Sat Guru means one who knows the science of Krishna consciousness, which is the eternal science of the soul, Atma Tattva, or Atma Gyan. So there's another verse which explains that only those who are on that platform can actually become fully happy or satisfied. And in that verse, these words are mentioned, so I'm just making reference to this particular verse, and by explaining the verse, this will answer the question that is being asked. Bhukti, Mukti, Siddhi, Kami, Sakale Ashanta, Krishna Bhakta Niskama, Ataiva Shanta. So the first line, Bhukti, Mukti, Siddhi, Kami. Kami means material desire, generally. Kama. There is kama, which means, within the material context, lust. Kama. Kama Esha, Krodha Esha. Krishna is explaining that when material desires, kama, are not fulfilled or satisfied, then anger, we become agitated, we become angry. Kama. So bhukti signifies this kama, this desire for material sense gratification. That is the lowest level in the human form of life. A little bit higher is bhukti, mukti. Mukti means those who are, generally they are referred as those who are thinking, those who are a little bit more elevated, those who are gyanis, philosophers. And they try to understand the nature of this world, they try to understand the nature of the self, and generally, because they are not properly guided and simply relying on their limited and faulty faculties, they may come to the point of what is called mukti, or impersonal realization of the absolute. But that is not the professional stage. Then the third stage that is mentioned after mukti is siddhi. So siddhi refers actually to yogis. Yogis who are, of course, transcendentalists, but they have some material goal or objective. They are very often very attracted to developing some mystic power, siddhi. So these three categories, they all have some level of kama, or material desire, either gross for the, we call materialistic person, or karmi. He has, his desire for sense gratification is on the gross level, and then the jnani more subtle, and the yogi even more subtle. But because they are not knowing about Krishna, therefore they are still bound within this material world. Whereas Krishna Bhakta, the special feature of a Krishna Bhakta is that he's practicing bhakti. Krishna Bhakta Niskama. He has no material desire. Therefore, only he can become fully satisfied or fully happy. So therefore, a devotee, someone who takes up to the process of bhakti or devotional service, quickly comes to understand the limitations and the defects that are there in those who are pursuing these three levels of material sense gratification, bhukti, or intellectual pursuit, or pursuit for mystic power. The second part of the question that you're asking has to do with how to take up the process of the chanting of the holy name. Should one start with 1 round or 2 rounds and gradually work one's way up to 8 rounds and then 16 rounds or beyond? Or should one immediately start chanting 16 rounds? Both processes are bona fide, authorized, and it very much depends on each individual. I know devotees, and it was like that in the early days, where as soon as one would come in contact with this knowledge of Krishna consciousness, especially when one would join a temple, it meant that one became very committed. One became what we call in those days a full-time devotee. We have changed, matured, I would say, in our understanding of what it means to be a full-time devotee. If one can begin immediately to chant 16 rounds, that is very good. Because we don't know how much time we have to gradually work up to the stage or level of chanting 16 rounds. One needs to develop a sense of urgency to become Krishna conscious. We should know, as we read and hear more and more from these transcendental literatures, how unpredictable is this material world. One devotee just sent me a small message yesterday or the day before that this one person who had been a teacher here at SSKBK, at our farm community here in the district of Udupi, passed away. He was 63, which is relatively young. How he passed away? Just a massive heart attack. We don't know. At any moment, this breathing can stop. Life is very, very precarious. And therefore, one who has had the great fortune of coming in contact with this knowledge of Krishna consciousness, with this knowledge from the Bhagavad Gita, with this process of chanting the holy name, which is the most powerful process that we find in the Vedic literatures, and which just happens to be the foremost recommended process for people in the age of Kali. So therefore, we should immediately take up this process, and if we can come to chant 16 rounds from the very beginning, that is wonderful. That is great. What is very important is that one keep regular and close association with those who are practicing sincerely Krishna consciousness. One should hear the various lectures given by our founder Acharya. To this day remain fresh and full of inspiration. It is, of course, very nice to read these books and to hear classes in our temples. In addition to that, I strongly recommend, and these classes by our founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, are available on the internet. One devotee copied actually a whole series of lectures pertaining to the topic of Varnasrama, for example. And so in this way there are hundreds, or if not thousands, of lectures given by our founder Acharya, and they are very, very potent. And in this way, the sooner one can become very, very serious about Krishna consciousness. That is the real meaning of becoming a full-time devotee. In the early days, becoming a full-time devotee meant shaving up and moving into a temple. And if you were not living in a temple, you were in Maya, practically. So we've come a long way. Full-time devotee means anyone, regardless of where one may be staying, in a temple or outside a temple, as a brahmachari or as a householder, regardless of which ashram, and regardless of whether one is a brahmana or not a brahmana, as nicely instructed by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, everything is depending on how nicely, how clearly we understand what is called Krishna Tattva. Krishna Tattva Beta Se Guru Hoy. One who knows the science of Krishna consciousness by hearing, simply by the process of hearing. And of course, hearing means to apply. If we hear nicely, we will want to apply what we are hearing. Then that is the perfect combination. Therefore, Sravanam Kirtanam, hearing and chanting, hearing and applying, are the perfect means by which we can nicely progress and advance in Krishna consciousness. So I hope this is helpful. We will go to another question here, which is question number 62. Also from Cambodia, our Guna Avatar Prabhu had sent a whole series of questions, so we broke them down. This is question number 4. Due to so many challenges of being in simple life, some people find very much struggling in maintaining this lifestyle, struggling to remain simple. And in due course of time, the goal is gradually changed because of social, economic problems and other material forces. Please kindly give us tips how to keep ourselves in this mission, although we face so many difficulties and so many problems. Material world is dukkhalayam shasvatam, is a place of suffering, is a place of problem, is a place of challenges. It is not our natural place. However, if we properly apply the good instructions that are given by Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, if we properly apply these instructions, these guidelines that are given, then we will become sufficiently protected from these different influences of Maya. We are living in the kingdom of Maya, so we have to expect that there will be influence in different forms and different ways. Therefore, one needs to be taking the necessary measures to protect oneself. Prabhupada would say to become a devotee means to officially declare war on Maya. Once we become a devotee, naturally, by hearing classes, by chanting the holy name, by associating with devotees, by taking Krishna Prasadam, so many activities that we perform, even within a short period of time, we already know too much to give it up. Even though we are allured in different ways by Maya, we know that actually Krishna consciousness is giving us the highest knowledge and the possibility of actually totally becoming freed from the problems of this material world. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada explained how, especially those who are in the Grihastha ashram, and of course this applies for everyone, but especially those who are struggling with what most householders are struggling with, which is actually sex life. One, Srila Prabhupada explains, one needs to be hearing again and again and again and again. Just like a diseased person, depending on how severe is the disease, one who has a very acute disease needs special medication, special attention, constant supervision from the nurse or the doctor. So in a similar way, our condition actually is very severe. We've been having this disease of material consciousness, this disease of ahankara, false ego, since time immemorial. We should pray to Krishna. Of course, this is also very important. By ourselves, we cannot overcome all of the obstacles and difficulties that come our way. Therefore, we must sincerely pray to Krishna to help us. And although sometimes it may be difficult due to various situations, may be difficult to get close or regular association with devotees, then we have to find other ways to get that kind of association. Nowadays, through communication, different ways of communicating, we are able to have this kind of association if we cannot physically always go to a temple or be with devotees. We have been preaching in Cambodia, for example, for many years, and it's been very difficult to make full-time devotees. And we have only a few devotees who are still, in so many ways, pioneering the introduction of Krishna consciousness. So it is a struggle, it is a major challenge. Still, we have many examples of devotees in similar situations. The more they took shelter of the process given by Srila Prabhupada, the more they were attentive in their practice of Krishna consciousness. Then, the more they were strong in their sadhana, then they were able to actually, as we say, turn the tide, turn an unfavorable situation to a favorable one, turn a situation that may seem hopeless to one that is full of hope. So this is also nicely explained actually by Srila Rupa Goswami in the Nectar of Devotion, that one should hope against hope, because at times it seems like there is no way out or no solution to different situations. In Krishna consciousness, we should know that there is always hope, and therefore we should continue to hear to chant, and especially be very cautious of this very unfaithful mind. As the mind can be our best friend or our worst enemy. We must learn how to make our mind our best friend, and that is by remaining always very nicely engaged in activities of Krishna consciousness. Actually, one time Srila Prabhupada explained, I found this explanation very inspiring, that one of the best ways, or he was mentioning actually the best way to control the mind is to constantly meditate on the mission of this Krishna consciousness movement, on the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Prabhupada would say to his early disciples in the West, you should tax your brains how to spread Krishna consciousness, how to bring others to Krishna consciousness. So in this way, if we remain busy, active in activities related to Krishna consciousness, then the mind will not engage in all kinds of thoughts or desires or feelings. These are the three main activities of the mind: thinking, feeling, and willing. If we are not thinking about Krishna, feeling as a devotee should be feeling for the mission of his spiritual master, of the acharyas, and desiring to perform different activities in relation to that mission, then we will develop material thinking, material feeling, and material willing. So therefore, we must learn. And the earlier we learn to do this, the more simple our lives will become. Otherwise, our lives do become very complicated. So, this simple lifestyle that is being recommended again and again by our acharyas, especially by Srila Prabhupada, to live off the land, we must learn to be happy living in this simple lifestyle, depending on Krishna. And in this way, if we follow and keep on hearing these different instructions given to us, then we will be able to deal with whatever situation may come our way. So one should remain always positive and hopeful. I mean, even in the material world, even in the karmic world, it is explained that actually it is ultimately depending on us how we look at something, either from the negative side or the positive side. So therefore, as devotees, we have so much of information given in these wonderful literatures given by Srila Prabhupada. We should take advantage, and in this way, all the answers to whatever doubts or questions we may have is given in these literatures and will be given by Krishna as well, who, when he sees our sincere effort and endeavor to render service to him, to render service to the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then Krishna reciprocates with those sincere devotees. So we should never lose hope in any way. We all have different situations, but Krishna is always there to actually give us what we need to overcome, this we should know, to overcome whatever obstacles may be there. Let us see here, one more, if we have time for one more question. Oh my God, this is a very long question from a devotee, Bhakta Manuel, from Switzerland, who just wrote to me today saying that he's going to be on a chartered flight in a few days going back. He's in India right now. Got caught up in this shutdown that continues till the 3rd of May. But there are very special provisions. These are being worked out through on higher levels of government agents. And so he sent a long question, which I think I will keep for tomorrow, because by the time I read the whole introduction to the question, there will not be any time left to answer the question, so we'll hold that until tomorrow. And yes, a reminder to devotees about the ongoing efforts of the online Varnasrama College. Please do visit. We've had a few devotees have already applied online to become teachers. We've already contacted a number of devotees, and we do request that, because that's part of the procedure, everyone who will be officially recognized as a teacher at our Varnashram College online needs to fill in the registration and agreement form, and then needs to also select and give a title to the particular course that he will be giving. The same for students. We will very soon make that application available as well. And we have a devotee in Canada. His name is Ramnath, who is actually our webmaster for this new website. And we're working in the background, so to speak, preparing various pages for this website. One of the features of the website will be a whole section where one will find various books of knowledge, published books in relation specifically to various aspects of Varnasrama. We have a number of devotees who have been writing and publishing books in the last 10-15 years, and many of these books are available. All the information will be very soon made available online as well. So like this, we're hoping that within a short time, before the end of this month, we should have online registration for students as well. And of course, for those who are in India, and for that matter anywhere around the world, we are still experiencing this very very unique and unprecedented crisis of this virus that is still very much affecting people all over the world. Therefore, we should continue to follow the directives that are given in our respective countries by the government, keeping social distancing and not taking the matter lightly. There are still every day reports of so many people becoming affected by this virus, and so many people are dying as well. For devotees, it's not that simply because we're devotees we are freed from these catastrophes. We should be intelligent to take necessary precautions, and we should continue to participate in whatever recommendations are given by our local authorities in different temples. There was an announcement some time back about daily Harinam at a particular time every day, so that during this epidemic the chanting of the holy name can be ongoing. We know as devotees that to be the real long-term solution to all problems that we face in this material world. So thank you all very much for participating in this session of Pariprasnena Sevaya. Please continue to send questions, and we will try to address them as best as possible during the upcoming sessions. So we can close by again chanting together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai Samasta Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki, Jai Nitai Gaur Pimanande, Hare Krishna.